Okay, today I'm going to show you a little bit about what we're doing for an event that I'm catering for, and we're providing cookies in basically a big sack lunch. And these are the cookies that I'm going to be serving. These are my lemon pecan bonbons, you call them. This is actually just a little bit of colored, but it's a lemon dropped frosting that you just put in the middle, and this is a pecan topping. This is our famous Brandon cookies, chocolate chip with butterscotch chips. This is a white chocolate chip macadamia nut, and this is our Swig Cookie, we call it. And this is actually a cookie that we're going to be frosting, and I'm going to show you how to make the frosting that goes on it today. And you want to wait to serve these cookies till after the frosting is set and cooled and set into the cookie so that it doesn't make a mess anywhere. So that's why we're making them ahead of time, all of these ahead of time. Okay, so let me just show you, these are the cookies that we're going to be frosting right here. We've got a cute little design that we made. Actually, you're not going to see that design of the cookie, but if you wanted to eat this without anything on it, would be good. But I just used the bottom of my glass that had a little design, because to make these cookies, you have to get a little ball about the size of a golf ball and put it on your pan, and then you just put this in a little bit of sugar so it will not stick, and then you just mash it right in. And it creates kind of this really ruffled edge, and that's kind of the signature part of this cookie that makes it unique and different than any other cookie that you make. Okay, now the thing that I do different when I make these cookies is that instead of a 1/4 cup milk that I put in to add some consistency to it, I substitute in and put fresh raspberries. So it calls for a 1/4 cup of that, and so I've got about a 1/4 cup or a little bit more of raspberries. I put like a teaspoon of sugar in here, and I mashed it with a fork. So these were just fresh raspberries that I got at the store today. And everybody says, what did you do to this frosting? It's so delicious. This frosting is unique too because it has, it's not just powdered sugar, but you have butter, and you put a whole teaspoon of salt in. And it also has sour cream. So it has some really great ingredients just in the frosting that makes it so wonderful. So to start off, I'm going to be putting in 1 cube of unsalted butter to make this frosting. And I have 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. I think it's a 1/2 cup actually. I'll check the recipe again for you. And then we're going to put a whole teaspoon of salt. A whole teaspoon of salt. And this recipe will also be printed in the description below, so you can have the whole recipe for you. And then there's going to be a whole teaspoon of salt. And that may seem like a lot, but it's what makes it really, really good. I don't know why, but it does. So we're going to be mixing up the sour cream and the butter and the salt first before we add the powdered sugar. It won't take long to mix up. It says use softened butter, but I always start every recipe with cold butter because it always turns out better, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. So you can see there's a kind of a big chunk of butter in there, but it will emulsify fairly quickly with the sour cream. And then when we start putting in the powdered sugar, it will be mixed in very nicely. Now what I'm going to do is slowly add powdered sugar. And there's a whole 5 cups of powdered sugar in here. So I'm only adding a little bit at a time because I don't want it to, like I've said before when I'm making a frosting, I don't want it flying out of the pan, out of the bowl, because it could make a really huge mess. So we have up to 5 cups of this to decorate these cookies. As soon as I add all of this in here, I'm going to put it on high so that it is very fluffy frosting. Right now it's a little bit dense. And you can see I'm starting to fly, it's starting to kind of fly out of there. Beat this till it's really creamy. Okay, now I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup I'm not measuring this. I'll see what the consistency is like to see if I want to add more, but probably not. I don't want it to be too soupy. So now I'm adding this, and this is going to make really a bright pink frosting. The recipe calls for using pink or red food coloring to color it, but my goodness, if you could have fresh raspberries in here with little flecks of raspberry instead of just pink food coloring, would you not use it too? It's one of our favorites. This is probably my husband's favorite sugar cookie of all time. I used to roll them out, decorate, and it took hours, and now I can make this recipe fairly quickly, and he's got his sugar cookies for any occasion. Valentine's Day, Christmas, he'll think of it in his life. And what's wonderful too is you can make different colored frostings and decorations to put on it for different occasions. So that's why it's an all-purpose cookie. And everyone from kids to grandparents love this cookie, probably better than any other cookie I make. And I make lots of different kinds. So we beat this up a little bit right now. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how this looks. The consistency looks just about right now. I realize that this is kind of soft right now, but this will all harden up nicely. And you don't want to stack these on top of each other. Number one, you don't want to do that. I usually just put them in a big tray, and then I have a lid that goes on them so that does not mash. But this is one of those cookies that you want to add like a generous amount of the frosting because it's part of what makes it really special. Look how big that cookie is and how much frosting I'm putting on each one. So there you go. This is going to be one of the steps we're using to put our sack lunch together. So we're going to show you how to make the cookies at another time. We are putting together our croissant turkey, ham, and cheese. We've already made our croissant sandwiches and put them in these little bags that we have. They're going to be going to individually. We have also the chicken salad that we made, and we also did ham and cheese and Swiss. And you're going to watch me put together our next croissant sandwich. Okay, so we have avocado, we have just mustard and mayo. Okay, and then I'm going to be putting on some cheese. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. And 2 slices of turkey. Okay, then I'm going to put a couple of tomatoes on. Season it with a little salt and pepper. You can see I already put the avocado on the bottom there. And now we're going to put on a little bit of red onion just for a little bit more flavor. And we shredded our lettuce, so it looks really like a great sandwich shop sandwich. This is what your sandwich looks like when you're finished. I'm going to wrap it as tight as I can right now, and then we are going to wrap it in these little cute papers. And this is one hefty sandwich. Avocado, turkey, and cheese with lettuce and tomato. There you go. Now we're going to put this in the bag. But first, let me show you this. These are the little containers that we made our pasta salad in. This is what they'll be having along with their sandwich. Put those in the bag. We're going to put our sandwich in. For dessert, I made my Swig cookies along with my chocolate chip or our white macadamia nut cookie. That goes in here. Then they put a bag of chips in, and they're ready to go. We made 50 sandwiches here.